So let's talk about money for a minute, because we sort of alluded to, man, wouldn't that kill his payday? I do think the money thing, the money piece becomes a conversation, because it's written in Shawn's book that he goes to Vince and gets a raise in 1996 while he's the champ. He gets $750,000 a year, which means maybe that WrestleMania payoff doesn't matter as much anymore. And there's almost a gentleman's agreement. I don't know that it was ever on paper, but it feels as if Shawn is expressing there was an understanding between him and Vince. Hey, nobody's going to make more than me except Undertaker. And then Bret Hart comes in, and as the rumor and innuendo goes, he gets an even bigger deal towards the end of 1996. And I could see how, if you were Shawn and you felt like, man, I've been doing all this media, I did all this work, it took forever for me to get the title, and now you've ran me ragged, and you're going to bring the guy back that I beat for the belt and have me drop it back to him and pay him more money. It feels as if Shawn had to be a little frustrated with Vince, and maybe this whole lost my smile thing, maybe he just wanted to be spiteful to Vince. And I've read over the years that Shawn and Vince had a relationship like nobody else. It was totally different from all of Vince's other relationships with talent and champions and whatnot. Do you think there was a venge maybe, or a tinge of spitefulness between Shawn towards Vince here about the contract situation?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that there was a bit of jealousy and a bit of petulance.
Yeah.
That, okay, well, I just won't work.
You like him more. You want him back. You want him to be the champion. You want to pay him more. So just go do that, right?
Have him. Here you go. There's your guy. Let me know when you miss me. Let me know when you're sad. I'm over here in San Antonio. 210. Or actually, it was 512 at the time, I guess. No, that's Austin. Whatever the area code of San Antonio, fucking Texas is. We didn't have no goddamn cell phones, all right?
About 10 years prior to this, there's a famous story. I wasn't there. I don't know. But supposedly, Dynamite Kid was hurting so bad when he was a tag champ, he couldn't barely move. And we put him in the ring, and obviously he doesn't wrestle. He's just there long enough for them to drop the belts, and then he's going to adios. But for a long time, there was this understanding, at least in the WWF, but I imagine in all of wrestling, that it's the, for lack of a better word, we all heard this phrase a lot towards the end of the year, the time-honored tradition that you lose the belt in the ring. You win them and lose them in the ring. And this is one of the first times that we see Vince let this happen multiple times. Shawn forfeited the belt after the whole Marine thing for the Intercontinental title. Now he's doing it again for the world title. Is a part of Vince, or maybe people in the office, like, hey, Vince, fool me once, fool me twice.
Yeah, but the Marine thing, that wasn't Shawn's call.
Right.
That wasn't something that he had any control over whatsoever. That's apples and pomegranates. So, this one, though, this one was not cool.
So there's rumor and innuendo out there, and I think this was talked about in some shoot interviews and conversations that Scott Hall had before his untimely passing, that Shawn reaches out to Scott Hall to see if maybe there's a spot open for him on the other channel. Did you guys ever hear about Shawn reaching out? I mean, it certainly feels as if he was comfortable stirring it up. There was a famous photo that was posted in the magazines and online of Shawn wearing the Outsider shirt. So he's wearing a photograph of Scott Hall and Kevin Nash wearing NWO shirts on his shirt, which is a WCW piece of merch at the time. And all of this, including Shawn's entrance at WrestleMania, which we'll talk about in a little while, it feels as if he's just needling, like, I can do what I want, and I can go there if I want, and I just want people talking about me. Was that something that Vince was cool with and understood, he's just trying to work the marks? Or is this just, does Vince take it as a personal slap in the face?
No, Vince wasn't cool with it at all. And I think it was Shawn's way of either getting released or, just getting a reaction.
Do you remember him asking for a release? Did he ask for a release to the best of your recollection?
I think that maybe at one point, I think Shawn did. I think Shawn, did go in and say that, I want to be down there with all my friends.
You're saying around the knee injury time here. Before the pull apart with the hair and all that.
I couldn't tell you
the dates. Yeah.
Wouldn't know the proper time frame, but I know that he did one time say, hey, all my friends are down there. I want to be down there with my friends.
Yeah. So the Raw after Final Four, Dr. James Andrews goes on TV and says Shawn won't have to retire and needs to rehab for 4 to 6 weeks.
It's a miracle!
But if that doesn't work, surgery is a possibility. I mean, if you guys know this, why would you air it? Like, to give Shawn Michaels fans hope? It does feel like in hindsight, maybe don't air that, and then one day he just pops up as a surprise. But that's not the choice you make. Instead, James Andrews is on TV saying, hey, remember that shit we said last week? Well, that's all bullshit. See y'all in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Why air it though, Bruce? Why not just keep that a secret?
I don't fucking know.
Because you kind of bury your babyface champion in the process, right? Like, oh, so what he said a week ago, 4 days ago, is not credible.
Well, it wasn't. Okay. How about that?
Well, it's speculated in the
call honesty.
It's speculated in the Observer that Shawn took note of how Bret Hart had taken some time off and got a bigger contract and a better spot when he came back, and maybe Shawn thought he could pull the same thing off. Did you ever think that was part of the strategy, that, oh, maybe he's just trying to see if absence makes the heart grow fonder and maybe he can get some more leverage that way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go home, and you're all gonna miss me. Now, you're gonna need me, and you're gonna want me to come back.
I know once upon a time, some of the guys who were on the card but maybe not working in the main events, they would often give a lot of credit to whoever was in the main event and, thank them for the house or whatever. But it feels as if Shawn has to have some sort of heat with the locker room at this point. Maybe he didn't have any sort of quote-unquote clique issues before, but maybe he does have some heat now that he's lost his smile and he's going home. Do you remember that being an issue with other talent?
Yes. I think that there was a great deal of skepticism, a great deal of just anger, and it was like, what the hell are we doing here? Are the inmates running the asylum again? And just a feeling of we're here working and Shawn gets to do whatever he wants. So there was definitely a feeling of betrayal, and guys were not happy.
Guys specifically, meaning Bret Hart, others?
Bret definitely wasn't happy. I don't think Taker was happy. I don't think Bret was happy. You can go on down the list.